Welcome to our Energy Connect studio at ADIPEC 2022. I'm delighted to have again sitting beside me Dawn Sommers, COO of Wintershall Dea.
Hi Julian, great to be here. Fantastic to be back at ADIPEC.
And a very busy ADIPEC at that.
It is, it's great to see actually, yeah.
So I just want to start off with, how was Wintershall Dea's plan for energy transition and how are you accelerating your plans?
Yeah, good question, Julian. And as you know, one of the world's greatest challenges at the moment is delivering security of supply and achieving our climate goals. And I say that deliberately in that way because it's an and, not an or. So both security of supply and climate change must be tackled together. And at Wintershall Dea, we continue to be focused on maintaining a gas-weighted portfolio. And we are developing a pipeline of carbon capture and hydrogen projects. And we have set ambitious targets. I think we talked last year about our energy transition strategy, where we have net zero by 2030, and we're very much on track for that. We have a goal to maintain zero routine flaring, which we are. And we also want to reduce our methane intensity to below 0.1%, which we are already on track. And we also have a plan to abate up to between 20 and 30 million tonnes of CO2 by 2040.
Well, that is really good to hear. And I'd like to, can you elaborate more on your CCS and hydrogen strategy? And I know you announced a few things in Europe and Norway.
We have. So we believe, and I think it's been recognised by our industry, that CCS and hydrogen will play a key part from a technology perspective in terms of reaching net zero. And we have a pipeline of projects in play, and some real examples of that. And to your point, in Q3, we announced a cooperation agreement with Equinor, where we will work to transport German CO2 emissions to offshore depleted reservoirs in Norway via a pipeline between Germany and Norway. And we're very excited about that. And that has the potential to store up to 40 million tonnes of CO2 per annum. So that's the first one in Norway. We also are very excited about the fact that recently we were awarded our first operated licence for CCS in Norway. It's called Project Luna. So that's great because we'll be the operator there. So that's a couple of real tangible projects that we're moving forward with CCS. And we also have our Project Green Sand, where we will start to inject CO2 as of 1Q next year into the Danish depleted reservoirs, so with our partners on Project Green Sand. So yeah, we've got some real material projects moving forward. Well,
that's really good to hear. And we touched on earlier, but energy security, but what are your global plans to help meet energy security? And I know you said gas, but I'd like to hear maybe a bit more about that.
Yeah, thanks Julian. So I mentioned earlier that our biggest challenge is about securing energy supply and meeting our climate goals. And as a result of that, Wintershall Dea is gas focused, and we're focused on diversification of our supply and also our decarbonisation, which is our carbon capture and hydrogen. So from our diversification of supply, we are in Norway, if I start in Europe, where we are in much need of every single molecule we can find. We are bringing on 3 major projects in the coming months, which will supply much needed gas into Europe. In fact, 65% of the new production that will come on from our Nova, Valin and Njord fields is gas, and that's all going into Europe, which is a big tick. You will also have seen a recent announcement that we made in Mexico, where we have acquired 37% share in the Hotchkiss block in Mexico, which is fantastic. It is fantastic for our diversification agenda. And also we have, together with our partners in the Phoenix development in Argentina, also taken that decision to move forward with the project, and it's a major gas project. So lots going on in that space, supplying much needed molecules and also diversifying our portfolio to deliver more energy.
Well, that is good to hear, Dawn, and yes, I have seen all those announcements. But one thing that, the pathway to energy transition, the changing energy landscape, what are some of the main challenges, but also the opportunities, which I can see in some of the strategy of your CCS and hydrogen?
So I was at ONS a few months ago, and I wholeheartedly agree with the following statement that I'm going to make. We need to do this together. The challenge that we face is much bigger than all of us, so we all need to work together. And by that I mean countries, companies and communities all driving in the same direction in order to meet security of supply and climate change. So what's important is that we have that collaboration, and also that industry, together with policymakers, work together to provide the right frameworks that will enable the transition. Very important. And I described earlier our projects with regards to CCS and hydrogen, or some of them, but we also need more investment in new technology, because the more investment that we have, the more we can develop new technologies, the more that we can learn, and the cheaper they become. So that's important, and we need skill sets. And one of the opportunities that I see is that our industry, our oil and gas industry, has many of the skill sets, in fact all of the skill sets that we need in order to make this transition happen. And I'm very, very proud of that. Engineers, environmentalists, economists, project managers, subsurface people, they're all there so that they can transfer that skills into the future. So yeah,
well, that's good. And just before we go, I mean, one of the early things like the ambitious targets that Wintershall Dea has set, but I want to sort of look at, methane emissions, which obviously is a major issue, but it sounds like you're definitely tackling it and you're making a difference.
Yeah, so what I'm really proud of is, so for Wintershall Dea, engineering is at the core of what we do. We're known for our pioneering engineering, and we're headquartered in Germany, so German engineering, Wintershall Dea. So what we have done in order to meet our energy transition ambition, which is to reduce our methane intensity to below 0.1%. We're already at 0.05%, so we've already met our target. How have we done that? In our existing operations and in our partner operations, we have deployed what we call our leak detection and reduction technology, developed in Germany, across all of our operated and non-operated facilities, which is delivering on reduced methane emissions, and we're sharing that with our partners and across all the different organisations that we can, transfer those learnings. So we're on track, Julian. So yeah, very good.
That's really good to hear, Dawn. And just want to thank you for popping down the Energy Connect studio, and really good to see you again.
Thanks, Julian. Great to be here, and we'll see you next year.
Yep.